My name is Abdurrahman. I'm a lecturer at a public university in Kenya. I deliver lectures in computing and informatics. In our last lesson, we discussed about the infinite while loop. We had found out actually an infinite while loop. It's the one which actually takes up only one condition, and that condition actually evaluates to true, and hence it will never update. So the code repeats itself until the program actually it is overflow, and actually it's possible to crash. So today we are going to look up another concept. We are going to ask ourselves, what is a do while loop? And in that particular journey, we are going to look at the syntax, we are going to look at the definition and implementation into what you call actually the Eclipse IDE. So let us start up with the definition of a do while loop. So a do while loop, it is used to execute a block of statement and repeatedly until a given condition actually it is false. So basically when we are talking about a do while loop, it actually executes block of statement. So basically that's what it does. It executes a block of statement repeatedly until the condition actually become a false. And it is actually similar to a while loop, except that its condition checks the condition after the statement it is actually executed. So it checks the condition after the statement actually is executed. And because of that, it actually guarantees to execute at least once. So it guarantees at least to execute once. And basically there are two types of a do while loop. We have got what you call the simple do while loop, and also we have got what you call the infinite do while loop. So this one actually takes us into the syntax of a simple do while loop. So the syntax of do while loop is very simple. First of all, we write the keyword do and then open the bracket, and then we do a statement first as in the definition, and we can do what we call the incrementer and the decrementer. And then basically we are saying while, we are writing the word while, and then we are giving here a boolean condition, and then we terminate. So basically that is actually the syntax. If you can conceptualize it, this particular syntax, using up a DFD, we'll have here when we start here, and then we'll have our initializations here, just like on a while loop, and then we'll have up a condition, and that condition should have up you'll have our initialization, and then before we can actually have up our condition, we are going to have our statements here. So here we'll have up our statement, and then we'll have up our condition. So after having up our condition, this is a boolean condition, and this particular condition actually if it evaluates to true, if it is evaluated to true, then what happens? It will go on and iterate through this particular condition until it evaluates to false, and then it's going to end up our program. So basically this is how it works. It moves on to check up for the condition until the condition evaluates to false. That's the time it's going to exit. So it will move on and move on here to check this particular condition until they are false, and then it will come up and end. So let's go to Eclipse and see how we can actually implement up the same. So in Eclipse here, we are going to print 1 to 6 or 1 to 5. So this particular program, so I'll say int I, I'll give it up int I can initially to a value of 1 because we want to print actually 1 to 5. So what do I say? I say the word do, and then I open up curly bracket, I open up my curly bracket and my closing curly bracket, and then I can put up a system dot out dot println. And what do I want to print? Basically, I just want to print my I. So I just want to print up my I. So, however, should increment that I. So I'll say I plus plus. I say I plus plus. And then, basically, I come at the end here and say while. And I put up my condition inside that particular while. So I want to print 1 to 5. So I should be less than or equals to 5. And most of the time, students actually don't terminate the last part, so the last part must be terminated. So basically, suppose first of all to actually do this particular statement first before looking at the condition. So let us see how it works, the logic behind it. So the logic is very simple. So let's take up the logic and try to explain this particular logic. So our logic is very simple of how this particular program works. So if we have got I here, and we have got our incrementer, and we have got our output here. So I, we have initialized it to 1. So it has, first of all, doesn't pass through the incrementer. It has to be printed, so we'll print up 1. So that is how we are going to do. So now, and then I, still it is 1. So when it is incremented, now we'll have got 1 plus 1. So we'll have up 2 and actually check it now. Are we checking that is it 2 less than or equal to 5? It is true, so it's going to print 2. And then we'll move on now with our 2 and check it. Now, is 2, when actually we are taking up 2 now and we increment it with 1. So that becomes up 3. Is 3 less than or equal to? It is true again, so we are going to print that. So after that, we are taking up our 3 and increment it and ask up ourselves, actually, is 3 less than or equal to 5? It is true, so it's going to print up 4. And then we are taking up our 4 and incrementing it and actually increment it. So we are taking up our 4 and increment it to and becomes up 5, and asking ourselves, is 5 less than or equal to yes, so that is true, and actually we increment it. And then we're taking up our 5 and actually checking it and increment it. After increment it, we are asking 5 plus 1, it is actually 6. Is it actually 6 greater than? So that becomes up false, so it does not actually print it. So basically, at the end of the day, just prints up this particular part 1 to 5 and leave the other side. So let's just go to Eclipse actually and see what happens. So when we run this particular program, basically it gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and not actually 6. And that one actually makes the end of this particular session until into our next session, whereby we are going to talk about the infinite do loop. Thank you for listening, and however, don't forget to subscribe, and bye for now.